ChangeDaChannel, and this is Debunk This, a show for you debunkers and people who don't believe in government conspiracy, that the U.S. government and its agency haven't poisoned, killed, and destroyed its own citizens for its own means. This show isn't about why, it's about how. And this show was also for the choir out there that exchange information and ideas in the comments section. Also, I know I could do some long documentary covering hours and hours worth of facts about any of the topics that are covered in this show, but I feel that we just got to keep it simple, with a few key issues that can be backed by documents and other evidence, when it narrows the BS factor of the deniers. Now, the year is 1991, and it's after the Persian Gulf War had ended. Now, the leadership of the Department of Defense has affirmed to veterans and sworn to the U.S. Congress that there is no information classified or unclassified that indicates that chemical or biological weapons were used in the Persian Gulf, and that there were no confirmed detections of any chemical or biological agents at any time during the entire conflict. Now let's go back a little bit to January 17, 1991, and after the air war had started in the Persian Gulf, chemical detection units from the Czech Republic confirmed chemical agents. French detection units detected chemical agents. Chemical specialists from the British Army detected chemical agents, and both the Czech and the French forces reported detections immediately to the U.S. forces. Even the U.S. Army forces detected, confirmed, and reported chemical agents, as well as U.S. soldiers were even awarded medals for detecting chemical agents. Now, before I go any further, over in the description, I have some links over there on this, all of this information that I'm going through right now, that you can reference. It's information from the GulfWarVets.com to actual documents from congressional and Senate hearings. There's also a zip file of roughly about 80 unclassified documents from the D.O.D. on this. Now, after this period, the soldiers started experiencing illness, which was later that they came up with Gulf War syndrome, and it's a medical condition affecting many of the veterans of the Gulf War, causing fatigue, chronic headaches, skin and respiratory disorders, tumors. They said its origins is uncertain, though it has been attributed to exposure of combination of pesticides, vaccines, and other chemicals. Now, that's a current definition of Gulf War syndrome. Back then, there was a big division in the medical community, and there still is today. There's still a conflict in it. Matter of fact, in 1995, Dr. Dimitris Petropoulos, who is from Harvard School of Public Health, and he's also a Bilderberger, says that when people hear they should be ill, they become ill. The flip side, as it were, of the placebo effect. If you're telling people they should be sick, of course they'll believe it. And at this time also, and during this period, a lot of psychologists were saying it was PTSD and all this stuff was causing it and stuff like that. But anyhow, I just wanted to give you that to show you, what was going on during this time, and how, people in the research field, medical field, they didn't have a clue because they didn't have all the, information. Let's move a little ahead in time to September 19, 1996, and the hearings on the exposure of troops and chemical and biological agents. Now, this is 5 years after the war ended. Now, the D.O.D. admitted that more than 5,000 troops may have been exposed to chemical weapons when a battalion of U.S. soldiers blew up an Iraqi ammunition depot. Okay. Now, 1 month later, at the Pentagon's October 22, 1996 background news briefing, this number was increased to 20,867. Now, on April 11th, 1997, after this information had started to come out and surface and stuff like that about this incident that they're admitting, saying happened and all of that, the Washington Post reports that it is now clear that with intelligence available to the government since at least 1986, the exposure could and should have been avoided. It is clear that the CIA, as well as the Defense Department, have been complacent in a stone wall, if not a cover-up. Let's go a little ahead in time. Few months here. June 26, 1997. The Pentagon increased the number to 27,000. On July 24th, less than a month later, 1997, the Pentagon increased the number from 27,000 to 98,900 troops that it could have been, may have been exposed to a path of a plume of nerve gas unleashed when the U.S. combat engineers blew up that ammunition depot in southern Iraq in March 1991, shortly after the war. So with that said, by their lies under oath proven in their own documents and their conflicting testimonies now, it is apparent they conspired to conceal information about the exposure of chemical weapons to U.S. troops during the Persian Gulf War. And only after 5 years, given more conflicting testimony, changing their numbers of soldiers that may have been exposed from 5,000 to 98,900 over a 10-month period on 4 occasions. And also keep in mind, this was from a post-war demolition of the ammunition depot. This in itself conflicts with the French, Czech, and British reports of confirmed chemical agent detection, as well as the U.S. Army's own confirmed detection during the war, not to mention the soldiers that were awarded medals for detecting chemical agents. Even today, U.S. veterans of the 2003 Iraq War have reported a range of serious health issues, including tumors, daily blood and urine, sexual dysfunction, migraines, frequent muscle spasms, and other symptoms similar to the symptoms of the Gulf War syndrome. Now, I'm not saying why or what caused this illness. I'm no doctor. But what I am saying is that they conspired and are still conspiring to conceal vital information that has inhibited the medical community from treating this illness and has cost the lives of thousands of U.S. troops. Now, debunk that. Now, before I close out, I just want to say, I don't want to hear anybody sitting there, and you debunkers out there saying, what is there to debunk? Because that's about the only thing any of you have been able to say in the last 3 episodes. It's like, what is there to debunk? Guess what? It's nothing to debunk. You can't, because it is a fact. It's just the way it is. What you need to do instead of going, what you should do is just admit it. Think about it. Do the research yourself. Look it up. Look it up. And that's all I'm saying. Check out the descriptions and debunk this. And of course, you're not going to be able to. The only thing that if you really got a level head, you're going to be able to do is you're going to reference all the material over here, and then you're going to find out the truth. We're going to wake you up. A whole lot of people out here, we are going to wake you guys up, man, because it's just too many facts out there that they've been doing these things and they're still doing them. Anyhow, I've changed the channel. This has been Debunk This. I'll catch y'all next week when we tackle some more stuff head on, and I'm out.